really happens at your workplace when the boss isn't around? It's a simple question, right? But the answer? Well, the answer tells you everything you need to know about a company's safety culture. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. Not just the rules on a piece of paper, but the real mindset that actually keeps people safe. So I want you to really think about this for a second. Seriously, get a picture in your mind. The supervisor is away. What happens? Do people start to cut corners, maybe skip a step or two? Or do they stick to the procedures just like they always would? Your answer to that question, that gets to the very heart of what safety culture is all about. And there it is. This is it. This is the golden thread that's going to run through our entire conversation today. It's not about what the rulebook says, it's about what people actually do, instinctively. It's all those unwritten rules, the shared beliefs that guide everyone's actions when they think no one is watching. Now, look, this isn't some brand new idea. This concept was actually defined decades ago, but honestly, it is more relevant today than ever before. The real industry leaders in 2026, they get it. They know the true benchmark for safety isn't just about compliance or ticking a bunch of boxes. It's about a deep-seated cultural understanding of what keeps people safe. Here's the thing. Building a great safety culture doesn't just happen overnight. It's a journey. It's a progression through some pretty distinct stages of maturity. The best way to think about it is like a ladder. Every single organization is on one of these rungs, and the goal, of course, is to just keep on climbing. All right, so let's take a look at the ladder we're about to climb. It starts way down at the bottom with pathological, then we move up through reactive and calculative. We keep going to proactive, and finally we hit the very pinnacle, generative. So let's break down what each of these stages really looks like in the real world. Okay, starting at the absolute bottom rung, we've got the pathological stage. In these places, safety is just seen as a nuisance. And when something goes wrong, the immediate reaction is to blame the worker. Leadership just denies any responsibility. Thankfully, with stronger regulations and the huge cost of accidents, this is pretty rare these days. But you might still see hints of this blame-first mentality in some older businesses. Taking one step up, we land on the reactive stage. An organization here only takes safety seriously after an accident has already happened. It's a classic fix and forget mentality. A new rule gets put in place, everybody gets retrained, and then it's pretty much back to business as usual until the next incident. This is actually pretty common, especially in a lot of smaller enterprises. All right, now we're starting to get somewhere. This is the calculative stage. Here, safety is managed by systems, by procedures, by audits. There's a process for pretty much everything. But the key insight here is that it's all driven by compliance, not by real commitment. A lot of large organizations in India, for example, find themselves right here on this rung, trying to make that leap to the next stage. And this is a major turning point. In the proactive stage, the whole focus shifts from just managing accidents to actively preventing them. Leadership is visibly committed. They're out there on the floor, and workers are super involved in finding hazards before they can ever cause harm. This is the territory of the real top-tier companies. And finally, here we are at the very top of the ladder, generative. In a generative culture, safety isn't just a priority that can get shuffled around. Nope. It's a core value. It is simply how we do business around here. And everyone, from the CEO all the way down to the newest person on the team, feels a real sense of ownership. This is the true hallmark of world-class industrial sites. So just pause for a second. Based on what we've just talked about, where would you place your own organization? Be honest. Are you guys fighting fires or just managing systems? Or are you truly getting ahead of incidents before they can even happen? That little bit of self-reflection is the absolute first step toward climbing higher up that ladder. Okay, so now that we've got a handle on the stages, what are the actual tangible signs of a mature, strong culture? How do you know for sure when you're moving beyond just following the rules and into that world of real, genuine commitment? What I love about this is how clearly it lays out that fundamental shift in mindset. A mature culture doesn't punish honest mistakes. It learns from them. It doesn't just count the number of accidents. It measures all the preventative actions people are taking. And this is so crucial. The focus moves away from blaming people and onto fixing the system that allowed the error to happen in the first place. So what does a strong culture actually feel like on a day-to-day basis? Well, you'll see leaders out on the floor, not hiding away in their offices. You'll hear workers pointing out potential hazards without any fear of getting in trouble. And maybe most importantly, you'll see that the rules apply to absolutely everyone. No exceptions for seniority or title. And that brings us to what is probably the single most important factor in all of this: leadership. A safety culture doesn't just bubble up from the bottom, it cascades down from the top. It's the actions, the attitudes, and the priorities of leaders that ultimately build or completely break the trust you need for a truly generative culture. So, how do leaders actually walk the talk? It really breaks down into 4 concrete actions. First is what we call visible, felt leadership. That just means being present and getting involved. Second, you have to create psychological safety. That's building an environment where people feel safe enough to report mistakes or raise concerns without any fear of blame. Third, you've got to empower your workers, give them real authority, like the power to stop a job if it feels unsafe. And finally, you have to ensure accountability for everyone, including managers, by tying safety performance directly to their goals. As we start to wrap this up, it's so important to remember that cultivating this kind of culture is not a project with an end date. You don't just achieve a generative culture and then, poof, you're done. The journey itself, that constant effort to learn and to get better, that's the real destination. So let's bring it all back to where we started. Remember our golden thread? Everything we've talked about, the ladder, the leadership actions, that big shift in focus, it all serves one single purpose: to build a workplace where doing the right thing, the safe thing, is automatic, especially when no one is looking. So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought. A truly generative culture is never satisfied. It's never finished. It's always learning, always improving. And it's always asking, okay, what's next? So the real question for you and for your organization is, where does your journey go from here?